wherever you are. If you're watching this later, near and far here, joining on Zoom. Tonight's practice, we are going to be looking at a pose that we do quite often. So this is part of our Asana Old and New series. So the old one, the one that we sort of do fairly often, I wouldn't say every practice, but we're going to be looking at tree pose tonight and trying to offer some new insights that might help you to refine or maybe get more pleasure from your tree pose. So to begin, we're just going to start off in a comfortable seat, sitting down on a blanket, and cross your legs or come into hero's pose if that's a little more comfortable for you. I'm actually going to start this music over again because it's a little bit more than what I want right now. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and close the eyes, or let your gaze come softly down the nose. Take a nice breath in. Hold it, feel the lungs expand. And exhale, release it out. Let's do that again. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale and release. And one more time together, inhale. And let it go. See if you can bring to your posture a sense of balance. So we're going to be doing a little balance work tonight, but I'd like you to find balance while it's a little easier, while we have our seat on the floor and our legs wrapped underneath. And yet, the practice of finding balance begins within. Coming into the center of your body and the center of the length of your body, top to bottom, seat to head. And maybe the center from side to side, so just kind of allowing the spine to lift up nice and tall, side to side, and then also the center from front to back. So decide if maybe you're leaning forward a little bit, or perhaps you need to lift up and lean slightly back. Whatever that means, to find those little adjustments in the posture. See if you can find what feels to you like perfect balance. And when you find that balancing center, the balancing spot, notice how much easier it is to let go of any other work that the body has to do. Because at the center, at your balance point, everything is in equilibrium. And that's a good practice for the way that we ought to try to live our lives as well, off the mat. Not just applying that principle to our asana, but trying to ensure that our entire world is in balance. Not pushing too far forward, not leaning away and pushing too far back from things, but just kind of going with the flow of what's happening at the moment. Regulating our emotions and our passions, our fears and our loves, so that no matter what, nothing gets too far to the extreme and we can live peacefully in our balanced center. So with that thought in mind, just see if you can spend the next minute or so noticing and relishing the feel of your breath as it easily moves in and out of your body. And just enjoy finding the balance within. Let's take one more breath here. And then you can slowly start to open your eyes. Staying in the same direction of your seat, go ahead and open up your legs. We're going to, instead of having them folded under like we were to begin, we're going to open them out wide. We'll scoot back a little bit so you can see a little better on my screen. Coming into Upavista Konasana. So this is going to be an active stretch. We're going to engage through the legs. We're going to lift in through the core, drawing the navel back toward the spine to help support the back and the muscles and the spine all the way up to the head. Take your hands to your knees. Inhale, lift up, and then as you exhale, you can begin to slide your hands down below your knees, relaxing your shoulders down the back. So keep the upper body nice and loose even as you keep the lower body active. Maybe even flex into the feet a bit, feeling the stretch in the inner groin, through the hamstrings, and let your heart be guided forward. As you come down, you may find a point at which the edge of your stretch becomes apparent. The edge, that place where the body stops opening and finds restriction, and that's okay. Notice where that point is, stop, and maybe even pull back from it a little bit. And then take the next few breaths. Maybe that spot begins to soften up, and you can continue on the journey forward. If you've reached the point where you know you're at the edge of your restriction, just breathe there. Again, we're finding balance. We're not going too far, but we're pushing forward just enough. One more breath. And then sit all the way back up. Lift up. Bring your legs together. I'm going to turn. We're going to just bring the legs down the mat, so I'll turn the other direction for your screen. Coming into a seated posture with extended legs. Again, keeping the legs active here. Now they're hip distance apart. Flex through the feet. If you have a strap, you can bring the strap around the balls of your feet. So the big toe joint around to the small toe joint, and bring the hands back to the body. So the elbows are going to stay bent and next to your ribs. If you don't have a strap, then you're just going to reach forward and mimic this same position. But inhale, lift up. As you exhale, begin to hinge forward. Keep your legs active. So we're engaging through the thigh muscles and the quadriceps. Maybe twirl the strap around your fingers as you begin to fold forward. Getting a little deeper now into the full hamstring, behind the knees, and all the way down to the Achilles and heel. Each time you inhale, slightly lift up. extend through the spine, and each time you exhale, the heart is going to be drawn further forward toward your toes. Again, your head is nice and long in extension of your spine. So we're not cranking it up. We're not letting everything fall forward. We're hinging forward just like a hinge joint of a door. Take 2 more full breaths here. Just easing yourself forward and down, being mindful once again of where the edge of your stretch feels appropriate and accessible for you. 1 more breath. Inhale and come all the way back up. That's it for the use of the strap this evening. You can toss that aside. And then we're going to go ahead from this seated position and roll all the way down. So we're going to come down to our back, releasing the back all the way to the mat. Bend your right knee, slide the foot up on the mat, and then with that right knee bent, allow the right knee to just open to the side. So I told you we're going to be working on tree pose this evening. So you can think of this as a sleeping tree. I'd prefer to think of it as a sleeping tree and not a dead tree. How's that? So it's the same body posture as we have in tree pose, with the right knee externally rotated and pointing off to the side. Bring your hands to your belly, just allowing yourself to relax your shoulders, and then letting your right leg naturally open to the side. Now, sometimes this may feel a little too intense. You may want to grab a blanket or even a block and bring it under the right knee or thigh, because essentially we want the leg to be able to rest and feel supported. So if it's sort of hanging up here halfway and that becomes a strain on your body, I want the knee to be able to drop open. This is a passive stretch, which means we're getting the stretch by trying to do as little as possible. So those muscles need to relax. We need to allow the right hip joint to release in its own natural way, just with the gravity of the earth doing the work for us. The more you can relax and use your breath to communicate that the body is okay. It doesn't have to tense up. It doesn't have to hold on. The more you can do that, the more deeply you will be able to access that joint. So soften everything down. The muscles begin to release. We'll take several more breaths here. Start to lift the right knee back up. Hug the right knee into your chest. So just give it a little gentle hug in towards your heart. And then take the left hand to the outside of the right knee. Your right arm comes into a T off the shoulder. And you're just going to draw your bent right leg over to the left. So we're just sort of rolling over to the left hip. You got it. Allowing that knee to roll to the left side, and now you're going to feel that stretch all the way on the outside of the leg. Keep your right shoulder down, gaze either upward, or maybe turn your ear if you like. more you can release, the more good this stretch will do. So try to soften up. All right, roll back to your back, the starting point, neutral zone, and extend the right leg all the way down. Then the left knee, bring the foot to the mat. And then when the foot is next to the knee, just let the left knee open out, create that little shape as if we are in our tree pose. Left knee open, left hip externally rotated. And then just start to soften it down. If you need that support under the thigh, a blanket, a pillow works. Whatever you'd like to bring underneath that leg, if that makes it feel better. Always find what feels good. Yoga is about feeling good. That's what keeps us coming back. And when we come back, it gets easier and better. So imagine sending your breath to that left hip. Little packets of breath rolling around the hip joint and telling the muscles, soften up here. Let go of the tension inside. Nothing to fear, nothing to worry about. Just passively stretching and opening out. Take one more breath here. And start to lift that left knee up. Hug your left knee into your chest. Just give it a little squeeze in toward the heart area. And then take the right hand to the outside of the left knee. The left arm extends out to the side as you anchor yourself through the arm and shoulder and roll over on your right hip, drawing the bent knee across your body. So keeping that right hand on the leg, just encouraging it to roll open and down to the right side. And now feeling the stretch all along the back of the hip, into the gluteal muscle, into the tensa fascia latae, maybe all the way into the low back. Relax and breathe. We'll take 3 or 4 breaths here. Roll back to the center of your mat. Let's come back. Place both feet now on the mat. Hug them into the chest. Bring your hands behind your thighs and just start a little bit of rocking action forward and back. We're going to roll all the way to the top and bring the feet to the top of the mat. Just enjoy this for a moment. It feels good. Again, finding balance. Feeling all the effects of that stretch, and then when you're ready, come on up to the top. Bring your feet to the top of the mat. Press yourself up. Hands come to your blocks. Lift up your seat and come to Uttanasana, forward fold. Let your head drop down. Upper body weight just rolls off and forward. Give your head a couple of shakes. What do you need to get rid of today? What's been on your mind? Just picture a little trap door. With a little shake of your head, there it goes. All right, slide your hands halfway up Your legs just below your knees, lengthen through your spine, head reaches forward. And then exhale, fold it down once again. And then this time we'll bring the arms out to the side, lift them all the way up. Come to Urdhva Hastasana, upward facing hands. With the hands reaching all the way up, press your fingertips together over your ears. Lengthen through both sides of your rib cage. So see if you can make your torso a little taller from the ribs on up. Take a nice deep breath in and then challenge yourself to lift both heels, coming into a toe balance, keeping both legs on the floor and yet noticing how much work and effort it takes to find that balancing point. Pull in through the core, pull in through the belly. Find the energy center. And then let the heels come down, arms come out wide, and forward fold. From forward fold position, walk the feet back, take it to downward facing dog. Let's take a nice stretchy down dog, our first one of the practice. Always feels so good to lift those hips high. You can even pedal those feet a little bit if you like. And then from downward facing dog, we're going to bring the knees down to the mat and press back to child's pose. Let everything roll forward, arms outstretched. Come to child's pose again, seeking equanimity and balance. See if you can challenge yourself to find the center point, the balance point of every single posture. Nice. And then come on back up to your hands and knees. Lift the knees back up and press back again, downward facing dog. Bring your right foot forward all the way to the front of the mat. Come into a lunge position. Step the left foot forward and again forward fold, Uttanasana. Lift halfway into Ardha, lengthening through the spine. Each time we do this, the head is reaching forward, the tailbone is pressing back, and the belly is drawing in and up. Exhale and hinge forward and fold. Inhale, arms reach out to the side, up and overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Next exhale, we're going to dive forward, fold yet again. Walk the feet back, downward facing dog. 1, 2, 3. Stretching and lengthening. Nice deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale, come forward, this time to a plank position. Hold that plank for a breath or two. Let's just press down through the hands, push the floor, the earth away from you. Feel steady and strong. Where is your center? And then press back again, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, your left foot comes forward into a lunge. Nice long, strong runner's lunge. The right foot comes forward. Again, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold once again. Inhale, arms reach out, up, overhead. Bring your hands together over your head. And once again, lift those heels high this time. maybe a little higher than you did the first time, becoming more mindful and aware of where that center point in your body lies to help create balance, lifting up halfway between heaven and earth. Exhale, bring your heels down, bring your arms down by your side. All right. So we're going to talk about in practice Vrksasana, tree pose. Our mindful points to think about as we practice tree pose tonight. First of all, when we think about a tree, we think about it having a big, sturdy, single trunk, correct? And because we have two legs and we're balancing on one leg, sometimes we tend to cut our tree trunk in half in our minds. In other words, we think of the standing leg as being the sole trunk of our tree. And it is taking the prominent position of balance, but the other side is part of the lower body as well. So what I'd like you to think about as we move into whatever variation of tree you'd like to take tonight is the idea of pressing and compressing our energy toward the center. So if you take your hands, for instance, and bring them to heart, and you bring them to Anjali Mudra with your hands in a prayer hand position, and you press those palms together, do you feel how sturdy that makes your upper body feel? Do you feel like if somebody came and kind of pushed you off balance, that you'd feel steady and strong through your center just from bringing your hands together and pressing them toward the center? That's because you are creating a strong energy lock in the center channel of your body. We're going to take that same principle and apply it to tree pose tonight. So what I would like you to be mindful about is wherever you decide to bring your bent leg position, that you're going to press the sole of the foot into the standing leg and create that same feeling of sturdiness, of centeredness, of groundedness down through the trunk of your tree. Now, even if you choose to keep a toe on the mat, which I always offer as an option in tree, if you don't want to come to the full balance, a toe can stay down. You still are going to create that same feeling. But the foot can come below the knee, or perhaps you want to bring it up above the knee. But we're going to work to connect the sole of the foot to the standing leg and create that strong connection. So let's give that a try. Starting, if you're gonna, it doesn't really matter, I guess starting on the left leg. If you want to turn, I don't know, let's say, I'm gonna do right leg. That way, if you're mirroring me, I'll say right leg. If you're looking at me, it'll be the same leg for you. Let's ground down through the leg. First, do imagine that you've got those roots linking all the way down through the earth. You can take your hands to the waist. You can keep them here, wherever you want to do that. Open the left knee out, so we're externally rotating the hip. And then decide if you'd like to keep the foot low, below the knee, or perhaps even bring it up above the knee. Never on the knee itself. Once you've found your position that feels best for that left hip opening, press the sole of the foot into the leg and have the leg press back into the sole of the foot. Find a drisdi, a point that you can focus on, and then modulate your breathing. Keep pressing into that center of your tree trunk. If you get unsteady, you can always step down and start over again. All right, let's take that a couple more breaths if you're still with it. And then bring the foot down. Let's practice that on the other side. So a lot of this is mental. Balance work is largely mental, and that's why the idea of compressing the energy into the center is both mental and also physical. So it's both of those things working together. Let's try it on the other side. Begin to slide the right foot up the leg at your preferred position. Press the sole of the foot into the center of the tree trunk. Have the tree trunk connect to the sole of the foot. Find that strong connection, unwavering, balanced. Use your breath, use your drishti. And then whenever you're ready, let that foot come down. All right. So we're going to go ahead and move a little bit this evening now that we've had a little bit of grounding, maybe some new thought ideas about tree pose Vrksasana. And at the end of our practice flow, we'll have a tree to practice with. All right. So let's inhale, bring the arms up to start. Deep breath in. Exhale and fold down. And then from this position, take your hands down to the mat, walk the feet back, downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths this time in downward dog, inhaling, exhaling. One more time. And from your downward dog, bring your toes together to touch. Lift your right leg up, stretch that right leg up and behind you, and then swing the right leg forward up into a lunge position. Left hand is going to stay down on the mat or perhaps a block. Lift the right arm up and take it into a lovely luscious twist. Reach that right arm up, beautiful. One more breath. Bring the right hand down, bring it back down to your lunge, and we're going to turn the feet toward the left side of the mat. Walk the hands around for Prasarita Padottanasana. Ground down through both of your feet, but lift up through those inner thighs, nice and supported, almost like the opening stretch that we took sitting down. Release your head and your neck. See if you can shake it around with ease. And then inhale, come up to fingertips. Lengthen your head forward. Exhale and fold. Lift up, inhale. And then we're going to walk the hands around to the left side, turning. You're going to turn your toes to the back. Yes, we're facing the back of the mat now, a little different perspective. Back into runner's lunge position. Step the right foot all the way forward and forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up, lengthen through your spine, Ardha. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms reach out, up, overhead. Bring your hands together over your head and lift your heels, come to toe balance. Where is your center now? Allow the heels to come down. Bring your hands by your side. Do a little pirouette and turn around on your mat to face forward once again. Reach those arms back up and exhale, fold all the way forward. Hands come down to the mat, which means bending your knees if you typically use blocks. And then walk the hands forward, 1, 2, 3, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale, come forward to a plank position. Exhale, knees down, press back, child's pose. Extended child with arm reaching forward. Inhale, come back to table position, and exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full breath here. Exhale. Bring your toes together again in the center of the mat so the big toes touch, and lift the left leg up, stretching and reaching up for three-legged dog. And then sweep the left leg through up to the front. Bring it up to a lunge position. Bring the right hand, the right hand stays down this time. Left arm sweeps up, take it into the twist. Pause here, stretching, making whatever little refinements help you enjoy this posture. We're not in a hurry. Bring the left hand all the way down, back to your original lunge position, and then walk the hands around to the right, pivot on your feet, wide leg forward fold once again. Inhale, come up to fingertips, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Lift, lengthen, and walk your hands around to the back once again. Changing the perspective, looking to the back of the mat in a lunge position. Step the left foot forward. Come to forward fold, facing the rear. Lift halfway up, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold down again. Inhale, arms sweep out, up and overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Keep the hands raised high. Lengthen through your torso and lift your heels. Are you finding it easier each time to find your center, to stay balanced and steady? With practice, we will all get there. Allow the heels to come down. Bring your hands down by your side. Do that little pirouette, turn around and face the front. Reach your arms back up, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Walk the hands forward to the front. 1, 2, 3. We're back to downward facing dog. Stretch, breathe here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come forward to plank position. Exhale, knees down, press back to child once again. Extended child. Take a full breath. Exhale. Inhale, come back to hands and knees position. Pivot on your right knee. Bring the right foot off the mat. Right hand plants down, left arm sweeps up. Take it to stargazer pose. And perhaps challenge yourself, lifting the left foot up. Use that strong gluteal muscle to press the foot back. Breathe, find your extension, steady as you go. Leg down, the arm down, come back to tabletop position and bring the left foot all the way forward. This time we're going to keep the right knee down on the mat as we come into a low crescent, Anjaneyasana. Start to lift your arms, let them float up and over. Nice deep breath here. Beautiful stretch for that right hip flexor. Bring the hands forward and down. Lift the right knee back up. Drop the heel down of the right foot and come all the way up to Warrior 2. So left knee bent and facing forward. You got it. arms, reaching forward and back. Now find your center again. This is so important in Warrior Two. The plumb line of your body from the crown of your head straight down to your tailbone, halfway between front and back. Take the right arm around, bring it to the front, pull yourself forward, step forward. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, hands down. We're going to come to tree pose here, so let the left leg stay down. Starting off with hands at the heart or at your waist. Let your right foot come up as you're ready, rooting down through the left. And then again, feel that magnetism between the right sole of your foot and the left leg. Almost like you could just create a super support structure right down through your center. Breathe in. Exhale, beautiful tree pose. And if you want to lift your arms this time for full expression of your tree, feel free to do so. Beautiful. Bring the right foot down, bring your hands down, and fold forward, Uttanasana. From Uttanasana, we'll bring the feet back and come back to tabletop position. From tabletop, we're going to pivot on the left knee, coming into stargazer again. That left foot comes behind us, right arm sweeps up, right leg is extended. Lift that right foot if you can. Eventually, we're aiming to strengthen through those glutes so we can press that right foot behind us. If it gives you a little stitch or a little cramp, that's okay, give it a break. Sometimes that happens. One more breath. Bring the foot down, bring the right arm down, come back to table position. Go ahead and bring the left foot forward. And we'll go right into Anjaneyasana. Did I do that wrong? I think we did. I think we did the other leg, sorry. Bring the right leg forward. My mistake. So right leg comes forward, yes, stretching into that left hip flexor. And then lift up as you're ready. Relax the arms, open your heart. Got a little warmer in here, didn't it? Beautiful. Bring the hands back down to the mat. Lift the left knee back up. And then we're going to lower the left heel. Preparing for Warrior Two. Lift all the way up, swinging the left arm behind and the right arm forward. Refine your pose. Remember some of our teaching points about Warrior Three is your knee pointing out towards your little toe. And then find your center in the middle, equanimity, straight down the middle of your torso. Breathe. Beautiful. Left arm comes forward, step it forward at the front, and bring your hands to heart. Finding Vrksasana with the right leg being our balanced leg. Root down through that foot, turn the left hip to the outside, and find your expression of tree. You know what to do. Beautiful breath. Steady and rooted. And if you'd like to lift those branches, grow them up to the sky. leaves might be trickling down a little bit, or at least turning into some beautiful colors. Allow your left foot to come down, arms come down as well, and we'll let the hands come all the way forward into forward fold. As you come into Uttanasana, let your feet widen just a little bit wider than your hips. Bend your left knee and take your left hand around the outside of the right ankle. We're just raising up into a twist. Right arm is going to lift up. Bring the fingers up to the sky. Let your left shoulder relax. So your torso can be heavy and can just relax and drop down. Your right arm, though, your right side of your body is extended. Energy flowing. Beautiful. Bring the right hand down to the mat. Bend your right knee. Right hand comes to the left ankle and the left arm rotates up. Remember to turn from the pelvis and then let the ribs and shoulders spiral upward. Soften into that right shoulder. Let the weight drop forward. Bring that left hand down, forward fold. If you like, take your hands to your blocks. Turn your heels slightly inward, and then just let your seat come all the way down as we move into Malasana or garland pose. So this Malasana squat. Now, if Malasana is a challenge on the compression of your knees, you can build a little seat using those blocks. And remember that the heels can be up in Malasana or the heels can be all the way down. Once again, you can bring your hands to Anjali Mudra at your heart and press the elbows into the inner knees and then press the knees away. So you're creating that wonderful feeling of energy at the center again. Our theme for this evening. One more breath. Very nice. And then you can come out of this letting your seat come all the way down easily to the mat, and we'll roll down to our backs once again. Let's go ahead and bring both feet to the mat. Cross the right thigh over the left. So cross your right leg, bring your thighs on top of each other, squeeze them together, and maybe twirl your feet around one more time if you've got a little flexibility in the ankles and they can take that additional twist. We're going to come into what we call twisted roots. You can bring your arms into a T off the shoulder. And initially, all we're going to do is roll to the left hip. So you're going to keep your upper body completely flat and square. You're just rolling your legs to the left onto your left hip. And if this is, again, challenging or feels awkward not to have a support, you can bring a block or a blanket underneath that leg and just let the legs relax to the left. So you don't have to hold them there in midair and create any strain. If that feels okay, then just let them come on down. Being very cognizant that you're not overstretching through the lower back or into the pelvis. So just take it a little at a time. We're using this as a nice counter stretch to all of the open hip work that we did. And then roll back to the center, uncross the legs, and start again, placing both feet on the mat, just kind of create a nice square starting point, and then cross the left thigh over the right. Again, if the legs want to twirl around one more time, if they want to really wrap and twist, you can do that as well. And then you're just going to roll the lower body over to the right. Just feel that lovely stretch.